to learn today about using your Microsoft Suite. We're not going to do every single app there is. We're going to go over the big guns, the most important things. So your absolutely essential apps are Teams, Outlook and Calendar, OneDrive, and then Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. But then we're also going to explore some of what I call the make your life easy apps. Things that don't require a whole lot of getting used to, that will make your life easy pretty quickly upon picking them up. So we're going to look first at navigating through the apps. How do you find any of these things? So how do we find these apps before we can use any of them? Well, you can start by picking one that you're looking for. So I usually go into my OneDrive. And that'll take you, if you do a Google search for OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive, this is your login page that you'll find. You hit sign in, and you will sign in with your Outlook username. So just your email and your Outlook password. I have my password saved, so I can bypass that step. So this is your OneDrive, and this little square in the corner up here is your app launcher. And this is where you can find all of your apps. If you don't immediately see what you're looking for in the panel that pops up, then you can hit all apps at the bottom. Explore your apps if you'd rather not look at it in the panel, if you want to look at them all on a big screen. I like to do that often. It's easier to find things. You can also hit Control F and just type in, oh, I was looking for OneNote. Ah, there it is. We will go through our essentials. The ones I think most of you will be familiar with are Word, that's your word processor. You write up your documents. Excel, that is your spreadsheet for calculation, graphing tools, pivot tables, and macro programming. We all have a basic idea of Excel. It's where we look at our charts and things. I could certainly be better at it, but we have a general idea of what this is. And PowerPoint, of course, is what I'm presenting on right now. So these are things we all generally know about. One thing that you might not be aware of is your OneDrive. The things that I like about OneDrive are that they allow you to store your files in the cloud, which is especially important right now. That means that you can access them from any device that has internet access. And if you sync them up, sync up the devices that you usually use with your OneDrive, then you can access all of it, everything that is online while you're offline as well. And that's something I like in particular because I'm very bad for accidentally saving something on my work laptop while I'm working from home and then coming into work and being very confused about where it is because it's not on my desktop because I saved it on another device. So I will show you OneDrive. OneDrive. That's this little cloud icon right here. As you can see, I'm pointing at the screen. That's silly of me. Here we go. As you can see, we've got all of the folders that I've made within OneDrive, but we've also got my desktop. So I have hit sync. That's this little button up here, sync, and it's just going to tell me that I've already synced my files. And it has created a folder called desktop, and that is every time I forget and I just save something to the desktop here, it syncs it and uploads it right in here. And whenever I remember to be more organized, I come into my OneDrive and I save things here. And this is just exactly as you would save things on your desktop. You can make folders, but you can also share directly from here with any of your colleagues. So you can say, oh, I would like to take summer reading program prize winners and I would like to share this item with other people, and I can share it with anyone in my organization. If I wanted Jessie to see it, I would just type her name up there, type it, hit send. I can transfer it, I can move it, copy it, delete it, open in browser, open an app, anything you want there, and copy the link that's important if I just want to send it in an email, as opposed to just sharing it. So that's our OneDrive. The next big thing is Outlook and Calendar. So the things I want to talk to you all about in Outlook are creating new folders, flagging emails, checking the calendar, and scheduling regular and Teams appointments. So Outlook is something that I prefer to use as an app as opposed to in the browser, but you can absolutely use it either way. So that's your little mail icon right here. And something I think not everyone knows about are the folders that you can make on your left-hand side. So I've created a folder for reference. That's where I put things that Terry emails me about work or anything important that I need to look back later. I have another special one for, oh, you know, this is an IT thing. I'm not going to remember it now. I'm not going to remember it until it pops up and it's a problem. And I want to be able to remember it quickly later when that issue comes up. So I've created a folder here that will allow me to do that. Junk email is important because you do one thing one time, I bought some gift certificates and 1,000 of these pop up. But unfortunately, it's important to check your junk email because, for example, the help desk responses were going to people's junk and spam for an unfortunately long time. To that end, remember that you've got focused and other. So unfortunately, groups.io things will often go to other. So just remember to double check where things are headed. Creating a new folder, right click, hit new folder, and you can create something for anything you want. So say you want a folder for all of your summer reading program emails. Just hit enter again, and there you go. Let's pretend that James just sent me a summer reading program email. All I have to do is click on that email, drag it over into the folder.
So tell me when you're...
And then, there you are. Your folder. You can go to view if you prefer to see a reading pane and put it on the right or however you like it, and the email will pop up when it's highlighted. And then you can just navigate back to your email, your inbox. Okay, so over to calendar. Oh no, one more thing. I will just show you this and we'll mark it for future reference. When you hover over, you see how this little flag pops up. This sends items to your to-do list, which we're going to get to shortly. And it also lets you see, you know, as you go through that you've marked this as important. And we'll get to your to-do list later, but just bear in mind, this is where you find that little flag. So, calendar. I have my calendar set to a week view. You can set it to a month view as well, but I have too many things happening, so week works better. You can also pick work week. If it's a particular busy day, you can just look at your day, but this will let you see any appointments that you have set up in your Microsoft calendar. Now, how do you make these appointments? Well, you just go to the, oh, I sound like a 20 salesman. How do you make these appointments? Well, you go to the day and you click the day and time that you want the appointment to be on. And then you do a right click and you say new appointment. And you can put in the subject, anything you like. You can also make it a Teams meeting. And that will allow everyone to join by video who you invite over Teams, as long as they also have Teams. If I wanted to invite Rhonda and Jesse, and then tell them that it was the Friday party, you can make it for as long as you like. You can guess this. It's not going to kick you out. If you put it for half an hour and you go past half an hour, it's going to give you a countdown, but it's not going to shut things down. The main point of doing this is that it gives everyone else an idea of how much time they should schedule for it. But it's not going to cause you know, a great problem if you don't get quite the right amount of time here. Okay. Scheduling team and regular appointments. There we go. If you want to get fancy, you can actually share calendars with people. So Jessie has shared her calendar with me, which means if I want to set up an appointment with Jessie, but I want to make sure she's free, I can pop up Jessie's calendar, and we have, you know, privacy settings set, so it doesn't have to, you don't have to tell everyone what you're doing when they're seeing your calendar. But if I wanted to meet with Jessie on Friday, I would know when she is in a meeting and when she is not, supposing everything is filled out here. So those are some very useful things about your calendar app. I'm going to move on quickly here because this is the Whirlwind Tour, and we're going to go to Teams. Teams is what has been popping things up here all the time, unfortunately, but it is a really useful app, especially for communicating with people as well as file organization. So you can create channels, use file sharing, chats, video calls, all of that. So I will just let you know, and sorry for the review. I know lots of you went over this with me when we were doing our morning Teams training in June, but for everyone here, we'll go from the top. So click on your icon in the top right-hand corner. Yours will start as your initials, and you can change it to whatever you would like. I have a little owl. Here we go. You will be in two different organizations, which is a little bit different from me. So you'll have, when you pop this up, your library. So it might say Two Hills, and then it might say Northern Lights beneath that. If you are wanting to create a channel or do any organizational things within your particular team, just stay within your library, your organization, and you can do that. If you want to chat or work with any of the librarians in Northern Lights, just click on Northern Lights, and you will be taken here, and you will have this block in particular. This is my a team block for member library services. As you can see, we've split up teams by departments and projects collaboration, and you can do this on your side in your libraries as well. So you will have access immediately to Northern Lights Libraries team. You can see these are the channels over here. The general channel is where everyone can post and chat about anything that's happening in your library. You can ask questions. We've had questions about dress codes, anything. Policies are a big one. Policies are now being collected here in the Library Management Research Center. And you just go in. This is where you might have a conversation. It's like a message board that's posts. You flip over to files to see what people have uploaded. So I've put here in PLSB sample policies, all of the sample policies that a library with a physical access point is legally required to have. So if you want to have a quick look at that and shoot them over to your board, they're all in here. And then below that, we have all of the policies that our libraries have shared with me. So if you are looking for a personnel policy, facilities policy, or records management policy, you can go through here, find a library that is you feel similar to yours, which may be in size, or it may be because it's school housed, whatever in particular you're looking for. The more policies we get, by the way, the better this will be. So we'll have a little library for doing research in here. And so that's why it's your Library Management Research Center. This channel has a lock on it, and that means it's restricted to certain people, and that's managers. So if you have any question that you want to discuss with managers of libraries in particular, you can post about it or add files here in this channel. Reading programs is where we will be working on our shared programming in the future. Marketing materials. Thank you very much, Alia. She's added some Halloween posts in here. But basically, this is where Heather is going to be putting a lot of her materials as well. So anything that you want to share with the team, or if you're looking for something that has been shared among librarians and you're looking for, excuse me, a permanent place for it to live, this is a great place to come, ask your questions, and find some answers and share files. Sorry, excuse me here. So that's the Teams function of it. And remember, you can pop between posts and files here. One more thing to show you in general is kit bookings. So I've created this with the Planner app. And so if you want to book one of our maker kits, you can actually pop on over here under general in kit bookings, and you can see all of our kits, pictures of the kits as well, which I think will be really helpful for people to get more of a sense of what they're looking for. And we've tagged them with their statuses. So you can see that the Osmo kit is available, but this laptop kit is out of order. And if you're seeing, okay, the 3D printer is in transit, I would really like the 3D printer. I need to plan a program around it. When is it going to be available? Head on over to schedule and you can see, okay, so the 3D printer was planned to be in Warrenville until today, so it'll be coming back on the van run, and then I don't see it scheduled in the next couple of weeks, or I want it for November, it's open for November. So that's a neat little thing we have with our planner attached to Teams up here. Chat is the other really important aspect of Teams. So here you can see I've been talking to Kayla. I can talk to anyone in Northern Lights for personnel, or I can talk to anyone in our entire organization, including all of the library managers and their staff. If you're not on Teams or you have staff who aren't on Teams and you would like them, please drop us a ticket and we can do something about that. If you're wanting to start a conversation, then you go up here where it looks like a pencil writing on a blank piece of paper, and that is new chat. Hello, thanks, Kayla. So you want to start a conversation with, if you wanted it to be one person, you could say, I want to talk to Kayla. I already have a conversation with Kayla, so Kayla's conversation will pop up. If I wanted to have a conversation with Kayla and Joanne and one of our drivers about something that was happening, so Kayla and the two Joannes, well, now we're starting a new conversation. I can type any message I want to them. I can add emojis, I can add GIFs, the ones that those of you who came in June will know that I am a big fan of all of my Obi-Wan gifts. That's my primary method of communication is Obi-Wan space. And you can also immediately start a video call with anyone that you've added here. So you can gather everyone together into one spot and call them either on video or audio. And if you're bopping back and forth really quickly, you're saying, I'm looking for something in Teams, I'm not finding it, and you want to have this window available to you, you can pop the window out, have the conversation over here while you are looking through other things, trying to figure out how to solve your issue, and you can come back to the conversation, which is really handy. There we go. So Teams, those conversations are really useful, I find, because you don't need a Zoom license. You don't need to have purchased anything else, and you can immediately share your screen. And sharing your screen is so useful for, having a question. If you want to say like, Alia, I love what you've done with your website here, but how did you do that? Or I really like how you did this thing on YouTube. Can you really quickly show me what you went through to get that up? You can just call that person, they can share their screen as opposed to trying to type it out and you trying to read the instructions, but not actually seeing what's happening. Just screen share makes things go really, really quickly. It is a great feature of Teams. Another neat thing, you'll see this activity bell. What is that? That works like this. So if we go to a regular conversation, and I think, well, okay, I need to ask Jessie a question, but I need an answer pretty quickly. And I also want everyone, like I want to post it in this general chat function. I can say example question because I'm very creative today. And then I just hit the @ like the @ in an email, and then I can tag anyone. Say Jessie Morris and hit enter. So you see how this pops up like this. What's going to happen on Jessie's end is that a little red dot is going to pop up over her activity bell. And when she clicks on that red dot, it's going to take her here. And so she is going to see this immediately as opposed to having to wait around. So if you have a general question, but you want to really make sure that one person sees it, that's a really useful thing to do. Let me make sure I've covered everything I meant to here.
I also want to add in there, sorry, Michelle,
yeah.
really quick before you pop out. I was going to message you, but everyone was going to see it. So we now have to do this like this. In this area, I don't know how I'm going to end up sharing the dashboards, but they might be shared via just a chat with you guys or in here. I'm still working on how to do that.
Oh, yes.
These are messy. Numbers. Yeah, I'm playing around with various things. I'm making it pretty for you guys to do a trial run, but these are just solid numbers without any graphs of stats for e-resources and my instructions to tell everyone how to use them. But this is how I might link these things so you guys can all play with them.
Haha!
Going in future.
Teams.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kayla.
No problem.
So those are our essential apps. Now we're getting to our make your life easy apps. OneNote is different from OneDrive. So we will go through here. It's this purple one here, OneNote. And we'll explore an example that I have created for today. Nothing fishy at all, just my world domination notebook. So the neat thing about OneNote is that you can make as many notebooks as you want, which is fabulous if you're like me and you try to make a notebook for one thing and you get 3 pages in and then you have to start another topic and you flip another 3 pages and start it there, but then you run out of space for the first thing. So this is really handy You can make as many notebooks as you want. You can add as many sections as you want. You can put as many pages in those sections as you want. It is a really fantastic time. So it's a note sharing app that allows you to create shared notebooks by subject. So this is your subject. These are your sections, and you can share it with anyone you want, I believe, in your organization. So that limits you to your library. So if you're a one-person library, these are your personal notebooks. But if you have multiple staff, then you can collaborate together with them. It works a lot like Word, but with a lot more versatility involved. So obviously you can insert your tables like you can in Word. You can do your lists like you can in Word. But you can also do things like add. Okay, so if you want to have a meeting, this is your meeting. You note that you have action items. You can immediately turn your action items into to-do lists. So if you go through your list, you find the things that are things that people actually have to do in the future. You can just put your cursor there, tag it as a to-do or something important, a reminder, a definition, critical, a particular project, anything you want. And then you have this to refer back to tick off as things get done. And this will allow you to be sure that you've actually hit everything that you intended to hit in your meeting. Another neat thing it can do is you can stick GIFs or videos or whatever you want directly into your note. You can draw, you can make extra notes. So not only can you make a regular list, you can make the capabilities are so much more thorough than you would have in just Note. You can draw anything you like. You can turn all of these into check marks as you want. But another neat thing is that it has a dictate function that is surprisingly good. So if you're a person who likes to think out loud, likes to use this type of function, all you have to do to make it work is hit dictate up here. And I'm just going to keep talking, and it's going to think about it for a while. But as you can see, it is going to start taking all of my notes for me without me having to type anything. The only thing you really have to consider here is that you have to verbally add grammar. So if I'm finished with a sentence, I say period. If I think there is a pause in a sentence, I say comma, which can take a while to get used to. So I will turn dictate off. You can also use audio recording, which is pretty fantastic for meetings. Oh, it didn't save. Okay. So multiple people can actually be in an online meeting, and you can record it, which is lovely for note taking when people are speaking too quickly for you to get to, for you to write everything down. The issue with dictate, of course, is that you can't tell who was speaking exactly, and the grammar gets a little bit wonky. But if you have a dedicated secretary looking through it at the time, that's not too bad. You can clean it up. However, with audio recording, you can actually just set this up and record however much of your meeting you want. It does need to think about it for a little while, but once it gets going, you can record little bits and pieces. You can keep them all in one spot, or you can spread them out. So I'm just going to close this one for now. Hit stop. We'll do a little example.
Here is a very non-awkward audio recording as an example.
There we go. So you can place as many of these audio recordings into your notes as you want. So basically, OneNote is for creating as many notebooks as you want, infinite notebooks, and it is extremely versatile and does a whole lot. Planner. Planner is great for planning for you and planning for your team. So you can create and assign tasks to keep track of who is responsible for what. You can assign both people and deadlines to tasks. Tasks can be multi-part, allowing the team to see items be ticked off as the task progresses. You can use labels to indicate priority, progress, issues encountered, or anything else you'd like to tag. And tasks assigned to team members are integrated into their To-Do app. What does this mean? Let's go to Planner to find out. So again, from any app, you can go to any other app like that. As you can see, this is how I created kit bookings, but let's go to PS tasks. That's just how we're keeping track of our own tasks on the Northern Lights team, and I will show you some examples. So we have created these buckets up here, and we did them by person and then some long-term team tasks. You can add a new bucket. That is how you might add a person's name, or you might say, this is our long-term stuff, or a particular event that you're planning. We'll go over to mine because we can mess with mine without me annoying one of my teammates. So we'll create a task. We'll do take over the world, and we will assign a due date. I would like to have taken over the world by November 29th, Monday, and I will assign that task to me so other people aren't getting notifications. Just hit enter or click off and then hit add task. And the task has been added. Now, as you can see, take over the world is probably a multi-step task. So it's not very helpful to just say that, right? So I click on it. First of all, I can see the progress is not started. I can write any notes, but I can also add items. So teach managers to use Microsoft Suite, step 1. And then you can add as many items as you like. There we go. And then you can tick them off and you can get a progress view. So how far through the task have you progressed? You can add any attachments that you need, and you can add tags, labels. So we have created these tags. You can create whatever tag you want. You can let your team know that you might need some help. You can say that it is complete in the ideation phase. Anything you think would be handy as a tag for your task. If there are particular roadblocks that you often run into, this is a great place to put it. Or if you need to hand it off to someone else, you can always add another person. Add someone else to your task to help you out. Have a chat question. Okay. So the next one that we are going to look at then, see, quick, easy, basically all done, but very useful for planning. The next one we're going to look at is To-Do, which is my personal favorite of just the easy ones to look at. It's really neat because it's integrated with the other Microsoft apps to pull all of your personal tasks into one place. You can add your flagged emails to your to-do list, which is very important for me to make sure that I am remembering what I have said I have to do. You can receive reminders to follow up on emailed questions and statements because an AI is reading your email, which is a little bit creepy, but it's doing it anyway. So take advantage of it. You can plan your day and you can prioritize important tasks. So let's have a look at what that looks like. To do, that is the checkmark one. So my day, I can add any task to my day. This works exactly like a day planner. As you can see, suggestions for things that I should be doing today. Yesterday, I gave myself a deadline of today for world domination. Very important. I can go into plans. That's just anything that's going to pop up here. Assigns to me. So this is where it pulls in from Planner. If someone like a manager assign something to you, or if you as a manager assign something to one of your staff, it will pop up in their assigned to me feed. Flagged email. This is one that I love. I rely on it very heavily to make sure that I'm getting to everything. So if I am going through all of my email in the morning and my God, there are just so many, and I know, oh no, Catherine has emailed me and I don't have time to look at it right now, but I don't want to forget about it. That is when I go and I hit my little red flag right here. By the way, if you hit it again, it'll change to done. That's the checkmark status. So I hit my little red flag. Oh God, Leah has said something. I said I need to respond to it. So I put the little flag there and I click it here and it pops up. So I can go through and see, okay, yes, this is what I planned to do today. And it's all in one place. So even if I get distracted, I come back here and I remember what I meant to do. Really, really useful for me. If it's extremely important, then I can mark the task as important. And it will also move it to the important bucket. These are my important things. You can also create your own lists. You can create buckets. So I've created, this is usually going to be something like summer readings program. You can see my head was in a silly place yesterday. This is the online potions module. So you can create a lot of to-do lists or to buy things. I use a very similar thing when I'm going to the grocery store, because otherwise I'm going to forget the 2 things I actually showed up to buy and buy 5 cans of gummy worms or something. And so you can also see that you can tag things. So what does that mean? It means when you add a task, you can say, add any hashtag you want just by using the hashtag sign, writing example. Then if you want to see everything you have tagged as example, which again might be summer reading program or talk to Teresa or something like that, all you have to do is click one of the hashtags and it will take you to all of the hashtags. So you can see all of the tasks that you have stamped with that. So it is a handy dandy little thing. I quite like it. I think you will too. And so I encourage you to check it out. The last one is forms, which I think most people have seen to some degree or another. So forms let you create, Microsoft Forms lets you create forms, polls, and surveys. It lets you gather information from patrons quickly and easily. You can integrate it into your website. You can build online escape rooms or puzzles. As we've seen, it works very similarly to Google Forms. And then you can also use it for staff or board voting or polling. Then the advantage I would say it has over Google Forms is because it is being paid for. They do not need to gather your information and sell it to third parties. So we'll just do something really quickly. An example of building a form. If you wanted to ask your patrons when would you like to use the library? If you're advocating for more hours, something like that, you can add choices, so it can be multiple choice questions. Saturday, option 1, yes. Option 2, no. You can add text, so you can say, what time would you use the library on Saturday? This is not a well thought out series of questions, but you know, here we go. Add new. Okay, so you can go on, make as many questions as you like, and then you can hit share. Remember, when you hit share, to go from anyone, or to go from only people in my organization to anyone, if you are intending to share it with people outside of your organization. And that's going to be anyone outside of like at Towfield or at Bonnieville, something like that. So usually you're going to want it to be anyone can respond, and then you can send them the link and you will get your responses right here immediately as soon as they're done filling it out. So I go back here, and this one's pretty anonymous. I can see there were 70 responses, and you can either look at the information provided graphically, which is lovely, or you can open it in Excel, which will break down absolutely everything for you and let you see individual responses. We won't do that for privacy reasons just now. Okay. And that's 2 minutes over. Sorry about that, guys. Is our whirlwind tour of the Microsoft suite, the apps that I think will be most useful for you. Do you have any questions, comments, or thoughts before we head out? Oh, thank you. Yes, Mornville mentioned that you can spit forms into Excel documents that you can add to, which is very helpful for registrations. That's true. It's really, really useful for that. Oh yes, adding a column in Excel to say that they've paid without adding it to the form. Where does it put the audio file when it creates it? It puts it okay, I'll go to OneNote actually. If I'm just creating the audio file, then I'll put it where I have the rest of the audio recordings. Then I can put it wherever I click. So if I click over here, which is another interesting thing about this, you can click anywhere. It's not in the traditional lines format. And I go to audio and record. Then it's going to create the little audio file exactly here. So I'll hit stop. It creates this little box with it, so you can also move it wherever you like within the page that you have created it. Stop
so she says, sorry, hosting question was about OneNote audio recordings. So I think what she means is, when you do that audio recording, does it go onto the OneDrive, or does it just stay in OneNote?
Hold on. So it saves in your OneNote, but your OneDrive is important because that is the place where you should be able to access all of your files. So let's go into OneDrive. You'll see my OneDrive has a folder for notebooks. And so I can access the notebook that I created in OneNote through OneDrive. Ta-da. So I think the short answer is it's in both places.
Okay, so an extension to that question is, if you used OneNote recording to record something unique and you wanted to slide it or use it in a PowerPoint, you should be able to because they're all on OneDrive. And then you should be able to share that PowerPoint either internally or externally, correct?
You should be able to. I haven't tested it, but you should be able to.
Okay, so then my next comment, and then I'll take my hand down and stop hogging, is I think it's important to note that when you're talking about Outlook, that if people use the browser version, it does behave slightly differently. In particular, the way the flags, like how you flag in the desktop version versus the browser.
Yes, I would recommend for Teams and for Outlook, having absolutely Naomi, having those two as apps on your desktop. Those two have a lot more functionality in the app than they do in the browser. The other ones are more or less the same. In fact, OneNote I find is less functional in its desktop app than it is in the browser. But Teams and Outlook for sure, I would recommend as downloading those to your desktop. Naomi.
Okay, I missed most of everything because I'm the only one here today. And Kathy and I share the circulation desk computer. And we found, and maybe you addressed this, we found when we were told to get OneDrive, only one of you can have OneDrive. You can't have two OneDrive accounts because it totally messed everything up. And then Brandon had to fix everything. And I don't know if you've experienced that. And I miss Teams, Michelle. Again.
That's okay. We can set up an appointment and we can use. And anyone who's missed a lot, don't worry. This is going to go up on YouTube.
Okay. So that's where we'll see it then. Okay.
Yes. And if you want me to send you it in particular so that you know when it's up, just shoot me an email and I'll put everyone together into one email and I will send this out when it's on YouTube. So that is very interesting. I've not had that come up before. I think Mornville, you guys all have different profiles. Am I correct? And you all have
so do Kathy and I. Kathy and I each have our own sign-in. But when we set it up on our shared computer, it did didn't work. And only Kathy can have the OneDrive. I can't use OneDrive.
Okay. That's interesting.
Just to let you know.
A shared computer issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mornville's saying, yeah. Okay.
And Mornville, are you all using different computers, or is it working for you even if you have one computer? Or even if you're sharing a computer with multiple logins? We're all staring at the chat now. Type faster, Mornville. Thank you. Multiple users share a computer with multiple logins. That said, we're just getting started on OneDrive. Okay. Well, if you do have problems, please contact me and we'll have a look at what's going on. And Naomi, this may be something that we'll have to have more of a look at in the future with Boyle to see if something extra interesting, just a little extra flavor is happening on your computer somewhere that we need to work out. Yeah, and you can use OneDrive through the browser. I would say there's no issue with OneDrive's functionality in the browser. That's where I use it. Leah, what's going on?
I have one too, if that helps anybody feel better too, but I'm waiting till I get a new computer to hash out those problems. And one of my questions about OneDrive is, could you show us an example of how you would share permissions for files for outside of your organization?
That is tricky. You can't straight share it. So what I do when I need someone outside of my organization to see it is I download it onto my desktop and I upload it from there. So do you mind if I use you as an example? Can I send you an email of a file?
Yeah.
Show everyone? Okay. So if I go into my OneDrive and go to my files, and I want to share with Leah, for some reason, this picture of a lull spot. Let's just say Leah, I'm sorry. I just looked at a picture of Obi-Wan and now you're going to be Princess.
I can think of worse things to be identified.
If she's fully outside of my organization and I can't share it with her, then what I would do is I would download the file. I'll go here, just make sure. So I can share it from here, but that can be tricky as well. So I will go to my desktop. I'll say I'm going to downloads, lullspot. Just throw this onto the desktop quickly for a second. Then I would probably just write you an email. So librarian at Bonnieville. And then I would attach the file from my PC. That is normally how I would do that because it works really well sharing within your organization. It can be a little bit trickier sharing outside of your organization.
Our comments or chat. I have opened both my work and personal OneDrive on my computer. That would be 2 accounts on the same profile. Yes, it would. Betty Lou can do that at home, but not at work. Okay. Mornville, I do think our licenses might be messing with our ability to do some things, especially when they involve the apps. We've had more success with browser-based functions.
Yes, that is probably correct. Microsoft is slowly changing what it is allowing people to do based on the licenses. So if you are having trouble with the apps, then I would say switch over to using them in the browser. For your, I mean, for almost everything, totally fine either way. Teams does almost everything. I'd say Outlook is the #1 that I prefer in the app. But you will be able to do almost everything very similarly in the browsers as well. The functionality it's not horribly hampered if you have to use it in the browser instead of in the app. And again, like this was a lot. This is the Whirlwind Tour. Please contact me. I am more than happy to go over any of this one-on-one or with you and your staff anytime you would like. So again, if you saw something in particular that you want more detail on, or you remember I said something that sounded neat, but how did that actually work? How did that happen? Or if you missed a big chunk of it and you just want to talk about it again, always available, always excited to be talking about Microsoft Suite apps. Yeah.
Okay. Then if that's everything, I will end the meeting. Thank you all so much for coming. Always appreciate you guys being out.